Hi, have you or a loved one been cursed by a witch? Do you need to seek a cow as white as milk, a cape as red as blood, hair as yellow as corn, a slipper as pure as gold? Sounds like you might be into the woods. Welcome back, y'all. I am your host, Danielle Dez Marivette Hernandez. Say it again. Danielle Dez Marivette Hernandez. One more time. Danielle Dez Marivette Hernandez. And today we're talking about Into the Woods. Don't try and improv the song because it's kind of tricky. Into the Woods, a musical by Stephen Sondheim. Put on Broadway in 1987, great year, and made into a film in 2014, although the film does remove some of the darker themes, ironically. Is it ironic? That's right, the stage production is darker than that movie you went to go see. Oh, Into the Woods. Now, the Cinderella story in Into the Woods follows pretty closely the Brothers Grimm version, in which it is quite dark. Into the Woods tells more than just the story of Cinderella. Her story is interwoven with the tales of the baker and his wife. They don't have names. Little Red Riding Hood, Jack and the Beanstalk, Rapunzel, and the witch. Not a witch, the witch. Better recognize. Now, in this crazy tale, a witch has cursed the baker and his wife so that they can't have children. They have to collect some items into the woods, haha, which do in fact include a cow as white as milk, a cape as red as blood, hair as yellow as corn, slipper as pure as gold. And where do you think they get all those items? But our beloved fairy tale creatures, characters. The musical is the closest adaptation to the Brothers Grimm version, and it all starts with a wish. I wish! All of them are wishing for something at the start of the musical. Now, as we know, Cinderella wishes to go to the ball. Her sisters laugh at her, but they won't be laughing for long. So much like the Brothers Grimm, the stepmother throws lentils into the ashes, says if she cleans them out, she can go to the ball. Lentils. These are dried lentils. Don't feed birds dried lentils. They will choke, perhaps die. It's dangerous. Let's put these away. Where were we? Ah, yes, lentils. So what does Cinderella do? She calls upon the birds. Connection to nature. What did we talk about? And of course, you know, Cinderella is treated terribly by her family, so there's the abuse that she starts from. Her mother is dead, grieving. Her father is alive and watching it happen, so abuse in the family. Now, this is the Brothers Grimm version, so Cinderella has planted that branch. She wept it into a tree. I was reading comments online, and someone said that was metal as heck. She cried a tree from a branch, and I agree. Now remember, the tree, the weeping, this is the manifestation part. Water, tears, emotion. She is putting her emotion into something that's growing, and she's making her wishes at the tree. So, much like in the Brothers Grimm, the spirit of the mother is within the tree, and she makes her wish to attend the ball. Now, in the Brothers Grimm, it's a 3-day festival, so this is the leap of faith. Except now, she attends 3 times. That's 3 leaps of faith. How many leaps of faith have you made recently? How many leaps of faith have I made recently? So silver and gold rain down on me, and they do. And remember, the slipper as pure as gold is gonna be needed later. So in this version, her slippers are gold, not glass. Now, because there are other characters in this tale, Cinderella interacts with them. In the film, Cinderella is played by Anna Kendrick, and the baker's wife is played by Emily Blunt. They interact because every night she runs away from the prince, and every night she interacts with the baker's wife, who can't understand why this woman is running from a prince, because God, she wishes her life was so much easier. Which is fine, we all have wishes. So there's 3 days to get everything done. Everyone has a story arc occurring within 3 days, and there is a witch who has cast a curse. Now, the witch in the Broadway version is played by the illustrious Bernadette Peters. Love her. And in the film version is played by Meryl Streep. Love her too. Oh, the witch. Despite me talking about Cinderella's nonstop, if I were ever to be in Into the Woods, the witch would be the role that I would fight to play. I yearn to play. But we're not talking about the witch today. Whoa! I am almost falling though. So, in the original Brothers Grimm, the prince spreads pitch on the stairs. Pitch is essentially tar. He intends to literally catch Cinderella on her way out, and Cinderella has a whole number about having to make decisions for herself for the first time. And this is character growth. This is her learning who she is and asking herself, what do I want? The prince also has this hilarious line about what a mess the pitch left when the guests tried to leave. Comedy gold. Honestly, if you've never seen this show, go see this show. Sure, you can watch the movie, but honestly, my recommendation is to watch the original Broadway production because they filmed it, and you can, and it is so worth it. So there's no fairy godmother, there's the spirit of the mother instead, but this is still the agent of change. She made her leap of faith. She meets with the prince. She trades her slipper of gold after she's agreed to marry the prince because she doesn't need it anymore. Now this is where it gets dark. When the prince is looking for Cinderella, he does encounter the stepsisters first. Remember, the stepmother is always looking to trade her daughters up because, again, that was the only way you could level up in life back in the day. Oh, spoiler alert, warning, if you have a problem with graphic, violent content, skip ahead. You've been warned. What happens is the grisly, violent mutilation of feet. Now remember, feet are about moving forward in life. So one stepsister is encouraged to cut off her toe, her big toe. Another stepsister cuts off the heel of her foot. Guys, they actually physically, with a knife, slice off parts of their feet. I have to get closer for this one. It is so important that we address the fact that mutilation occurs in this for the sake not only of beauty, but of leveling up in power, because that's what the mother says. When you are a royal, you'll never have to walk again. So it's fine that you destroy your feet. Don't do this. It does not work out for them. And we're back. So the sisters mutilate their feet. Poor decision on so many levels, because either way, they are not the one the prince is looking for. And the birds give them away in that they sing to check out the blood in the shoe, which the prince didn't seem to notice the first time. The prince, levels of oblivious, but whatever. That's right, in this version, he leaves with each of the stepsisters going, yeah, she must be the one. Whatever. So finally, he gets Cinderella. They ride off. But Into the Woods is not done, because now they go beyond happily ever after. This goes beyond the traditional Cinderella story. Remember, this is a dark, gritty telling of it. She's not happy. The prince is always gone. In fact, he's gone having affairs. He sings a whole song about it, and it's a great song. Agony, far more painful than yours. So in Act 2, there's a giant on the loose. The prince can't be bothered. The royal family can't be bothered. But Cinderella bothers. She goes in disguise. She leaves the palace. By the way, it's a good thing she does because this saves her life. Later in the production, the giant destroys the castle. Oh, by the way, did I mention that the stepsisters were blinded by the birds who plucked out their eyes? No? Oops. Graphic spoiler warning. So much violence. This production really goes deep into that punishment mindset. Cinderella goes back into the woods to figure out what's going on with the giant. BT dubs, it's completely Cinderella's fault that the giant is there in the first place. In Act 1, there were some magic beans. Go watch the show. And Jack climbed the beanstalk and they chopped it down. In Act 2, the giant's wife is like, I'm gonna take some vengeance for my husband whom you murdered. And they did. And Cinderella was the one who threw the bean, the magic bean, because the baker's wife had tried to trade it for the shoe. Logical things that happen when you're in a fairy tale. I don't know what to tell you. Well, Cinderella doesn't know this. She didn't do it intentionally. There's wonderful songs. No one is alone. Oh, there's a lot of sentiment and a lot of loss and a lot of grief in Act 2. It's what happens after happily ever after, and it takes a really nihilistic approach to it, which is fine. Things were pretty dark back in the day. Cinderella stumbles across the prince again, who has an affair with the baker's wife. Things do not end well for her. And he's either met Snow White or Sleeping Beauty. He met Sleeping Beauty because he says, high in a tower like yours was but higher. He's talking to Rapunzel's prince. So in this version, it's not happily ever after. It's more of a happy medium, and at least you didn't die. A lot of people die. The movie changes who dies, and more people die on stage in the stage production. You see it happen. Sometimes it's quite violent. There's a whole song called It's Your Fault. So this show explores blame. 1, whose fault is it? 2, does it matter? 3, even if we figure out whose fault it is, how will that help? So the prince and Cinderella part ways since the castle's destroyed anyway, and they discover each other in the woods. Cinderella at this point also has the baker's wife's baby, who the baker is like, I can't take care of him. So she ends up going off with the baker and living a life that's much closer to the life she was living at the start, minus the direct abuse. Now she is working for value, helping to take care of people. She helps to take care of Little Red Riding Hood, who has lost her granny, whose house was also smashed by a giant. They take down a giant. It's a really cool show. I was introduced to Into the Woods when I was in high school, 14. Such a pure time. By my beautiful, wonderful drama teacher. Love you, Miss Militaire. The way is clear, the light is good. I have no fear, nor no one should. The woods are just trees, the trees are just wood. I sort of hate to ask it, but do you have a basket? A cow as white as milk, a cape as red as blood, hair as yellow as corn, a slipper as pure as gold. I think somewhere I just got a baker's wife pregnant. On my first try, damn. So that's the Cinderella story arc in Into the Woods. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it, I know I have. Next week, I'd love to give you a choice. Would you like to explore more musical versions of Cinderella, popular and lesser known? Or would you like to explore some obscure Cinderellas that maybe you've never heard of? Let me know in the comments section below. A cow as white as milk, a cape as red as blood, hair as yellow as corn, a slipper as pure as gold. Into the woods, into the woods, into the woods and out of the woods, and home before dark I will.